Hi, welcome to tutorial number 49 for CSCI 130 Introduction to Programming here at the University of Wisconsin Parkside. I did not mean to stop the previous tutorial, but I accidentally hit the wrong button. Instead of the pause, I hit the stop. Um, okay, we were working with the interface, and I told you that this is a group box. So what I did um, between the previous tutorial and this one, I added another group box. The text here is view, and then in here I got two ready buttons that I want numeric, and then I have another label here, and this is another label that I changed the auto size to false and the border style, and I deleted the content. So now I'm gonna make some changes from what we see in the textbook. Now I see that in the information that we're gonna have is 10 students and actually 4 grades because it's 3 tests and an average. So in the textbook they define, I see an array that is size 10 by 3. I'm gonna define one that is 10 by 4. Why? Because I'm gonna store the average in the array. I think that's gonna simplify the code because they got a lot of things here. And then so I'm gonna define um, my grades and the counter, and you see these are global variables. How do I know they are global variables? Well, this one says private sub. This is what one of the buttons, the submit button, they do the coding here. So remember, whatever they do in here, they are local variables. So here I see that they're defining an array grades for um, global variable and a counter. So I will do the same, but my size is going to be different. So it's uh, so then I will click here, and then I will go outside here, and I'm gonna say dim grades as integer, but then this is an array, then comma, two-dimensional equals, then we're gonna initialize integer, and then we say from 0 to 9, comma, 0 to 3, and opening and closing brackets. And I think we got the same. Let's check. So look, they got 0 to 9 and I got 0 to 3, and then an opening and closing. Now I'm going to define a counter. So then dim counter. Now I noticed that some of you do not initialize. You have to initialize. For example, some of you just leave it like that, and then you're assuming that it's a 0. And Visual Basic, I think is assuming also that it's a 0, but I want you to initialize. So here is equals to 0. Okay, so that means I'm gonna be working with the student 0 now. Okay, now the next part I think is okay. We're gonna be reading the grades for the student, and then these are 0, 1, 2. So these are the grades for the first test, second test, third test, which are in the text boxes. So here I got text box 1, 2, and 3, and so let's put it on here. So we're gonna say that grades, comma, parentheses, counter. So counter initially is 0. That means that's the first student. So when we're done, we're gonna increment the counter, comma, 0. That's the first test, equals to the numerical value of the text box 1 dot text, right? And then we are going to do the same, control C. So this changes this, and this is my second test that comes from the second text box, and this is now my third test there. So I'm assigning that into my variable. So look, this is variable grades, and this is how I'm going to make the difference. Now, something that they don't have in their code, and then look that they have a font. Instead of using val, they converting the string into an integer that 32. I mean, that is the type of integer. So I just gonna use the val instead of that. Now they do something else here, and they define a string, and then they have the string that contains all the information for the table, and then they eventually gonna add that into the list box. Then they increment the counter, and then you see that they calculate the class average and they display the class average. So, and then they are also computed the student average, and then adding that sounds too complicated. What I will do, I'm gonna add my 4 element, which is the average, and let's just get the average. So here, let's see, grades, counter, comma. Look, you know what? I got a mistake. I didn't notice. This is 0, 1. This should be 2, and this should be 3. Equals. Now I could make a function like they do in the book that they compute these numbers, but I mean, or I can just go ahead and say, okay, you know what? It comes from the first test. So what is the first test? Well, the first test is this grades counter. So I'm gonna copy. I don't know if that looks okay, but then plus my second test, which is the one with a 1, plus the third test, right? This is 2. I mean, I would prefer a function, but I think these are only 3 grades, so we can do this. So here, then divided by 3. There, we got the average. So this saves us some code that they have there. So now I have my 4 columns, and look, I'm getting the average. I'm basically doing that by hand. So I'm grading test 1 plus test 2 plus test 3, then divided by 3. So what they have in the book is better because if you change the number of the exam, the test, I mean, that would automatically change. So ours is going to be fixed for 3 only, for 3 tests. Okay, then now we are ready to put the information into the list box. But what I'm going to do is just call a procedure that I'm going to say, call it display underscore grades. So now it's going to complain because display underscore grades doesn't exist. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define that. And what this will do is go over the array and put information there. So let's define this. So let's say sub display underscore grades. You're gonna see why I'm doing this because um, this will be the one that is gonna put everything in the list box. I'm gonna say, okay, there is a list box that items. Okay, so in my sub display grades, we're gonna first do the following: list box 1 dot items dot clear. So I just want to be sure that there is nothing there, and then now I will go back over here. I think this is okay because they want to have the students